Hello people, hope you're all doing okay. Um, yeah, so done a tiny bit of work off stream, really not much. I've worked a little bit on the clothing, although I am going to continue on that a little bit today just before we get onto the other stuff. I just want to rework a few of these wrinkles. Granted, this is all going to be covered by other clothes, but still just want to kind of practice this sort of stuff anyway. So we'll fix up a few things that are a bit too problematic for my tastes. And then once we've done that, we will move on to blocking out a tie and a jacket. Now, the tie I'm going to block out as like a clay model first, and then at some point I'll remodel it from scratch as like one long ribbon geometry. But doing that in ZBrush is suicide. So I'm going to kind of get that blocked out general volumes in here, and then we'll kind of play about with it outside of that. But yeah, so I'm just going to get on with it, really. First off, I just want to fix some of these wrinkles on the arms. So let me just do some stuff. There's one wrinkle which really bothers me specifically, which is this one. So I'll fix that guy up. Let me just switch out the alpha. Just smooth that in a little bit. Yeah, this wrinkle in, specifically was really bothering me, so that's why to get him fixed. He was hanging too high. Just fill it out a little bit. Get damn standard on this guy. There we go. It's not perfect, but it just feels a bit more natural than it did. Have it hang down. There we go, and then the back is something I want to quickly look at, because this wrinkle makes zero sense. Like, I mean, most of this makes no sense, it's not sharp enough and the general volumes aren't working, but, like, this makes the least sense, so we'll fix that. So I can't remember which ref it was. There was one ref that had this kind of, like, back fold thing. I found myself kind of attached to the shape. Oh, I can't find it now. So maybe we'll just even it out completely. Sometimes you just have to be able to be like, nah, fuck it, it's not working. Just cut it down. I have to even that out a little bit, but let's just get this pulled out. So let's go brush. Where is it? Curve. Thank you, curve. let's just get this hollowed out. Okay, let's pull that in. There we go. Brush, curve, turn off Accu curve, let's add a bit of focal length. Smooth out the bottom bit as well. quickly fix up this area here. There we go. Right, so let's block out a tie. Let me just check. Do history. Cool. Cool. So let's append the sphere for now. Okay, and we're just going to block out the position of this thing. So the fun thing for shading this when I get to the final thing is it shades completely like metal. Like 100% like metal, which is really weird. Okay, let's just flatten out the end. Okay, flatten out the top. Round out the back. Not going to worry about getting all the like kind of panel cut things in the right place yet. Let's just get these generally in the right place. Let's append another one. Another sphere. Okay. And this one is going to be a little bit more challenging. Okay, let's So that'll do for length. Let's turn off this guy. So this immediately needs to swell up to be larger. We'll also need to make it flat. I'm still using snake hook. That'll explain why it's acting weird. Something I'm wondering, if I was to mask visible, can I panel loop this? Let me just zero mesh it first, so let's go zero mesher. Cool. So let's get that pushed in a little bit. So if I was to mask what's visible to the camera, like that. Take my view. Good night. Good night, Alex. Let's just, rather than do what I was going to do, which I don't think will work, let's do H polish. Okay, something like that works. Snake hook to get this area nice and tight. There we go. Okay, and then we just need to sculpt the top to be vaguely fitting. Let's just bump that in, bump you in. Need to get the back to fit. Okay, so now we can do this. That's a bit too long, isn't it? Yeah, let's pull that back a little bit. Okay, there we go. And the last one to add is let's append a ring. Just get vaguely positioned over his neck. Something like that. BIN. Put that to 1000. Deflate the entire thing a little bit. Let's inflate it all again. Okay, it's about the right thickness, so let's trim that down. That's ballparked. That's by no means accurate, but it's in the right area. We do need to reduce the thickness of all this. Okay, that'll do. That'll do for the tie. Again, it's just a block out, we don't need to worry about it too much. So the last one is to start on the coat, which is obviously going to take a bit more time. What I'm wondering is, should I do a block out model in Maya first, or shall I wrap something to it later? I'm honestly thinking duplicate the body mesh, or duplicate the shirt mesh. Use that as a placeholder. But then the collar will need to be put on later. Let's try that for now. Let's append, oh no, sorry, duplicate. We'll rename this to coat underscore geo. And then this is tie underscore geo. Okay, so coat geo. Let's start off by deleting everything we don't need. So delete higher. Yep. Geometry. Solo. So we want the Z modeler brush. Zero mesh guide. Z modeler. Cool. I'm gonna set this to delete and then delete loop. I think it's poly loop. There you go. Okay, and then we'll do island. this is now a symmetrical mesh. Let's go to geometry. Deformation, smart resim. There we go. So that's now symmetrical again. So symmetrical topology and symmetrical symmetrical topology, symmetrical geometry as well. I'm gonna quickly paint this. I could put it in a different material. What's the hair 2 material like? Do we have like a glossier metal? That's ballpark correct, alright, so color, fill object. Back to basic material. Okay, let's get into this guy. And we want to darken up our material. Something like that will do. And let's just get to work. So, I want to work symmetrically for a while. So something I am aware of is the fact that my shirt geometry is modeled as if there was nothing on top of it. So there will be some intersections until I kind of resculpt it to match. Like this stuff will have to go. Which is one of the reasons I didn't spend too long on the shirt geometry. But we just want to make sure that the bulk of it is about the right size, which it looks like it is. So what we'll have to very quickly learn is how baggy is this thing, because this looks insanely baggy. Let's just block out some general forms. The asymmetry of the pose as well is something I'll have to also take into consideration. Okay, now it's time to take off the symmetry. Just realised I've still got a render going. I have a nice clean render to look at in a moment. I started it like 20 minutes before the stream started. Let's see what the cloth brushes are like. Okay, that one is kind of weird. Brush is kind of nice. Although it causes some weird artifacting. Direction of your stroke does everything. Okay, so let's just move this over here. Cloth, nudge. Cloth, wind. Weird brush. Cloth. That's a alright brush. Okay, so what's that one called? Cloth pull. Alright. Cloth pull is good. I like that. Cloth inflate. Okay, let's change that way down. What's so special about this? What's so different about that compared to an actual cloth brush or an actual inflate brush? Doesn't seem to do anything for me. Okay, what else is there? Cloth dimple, cloth ball, cloth fold. We've already done cloth hook. Okay. Cloth ball. That's a nice brush, but I don't see it being cloth. I'm wondering if you need like fixed skin enabled for some of this. Yeah, standard brush is still the way to go, I think. That's a very weird shape. Super muddy. Let's get this at least somewhat inflated over the shirt below. Okay, so next thing is to at least roughly extract a collar. So let's just do something like that. Okay, so let's go subtool, extract. That needs to be lower, doesn't it? It's on line with the shoulder almost. Oh, that's one of the issues. This entire area needs to come over this way. Okay, let's do... One of the best tools for pulling a mesh back is the Sculptress Smooth. It's really good at it. There we go, that feels a lot better. It's one of the annoying things in ZBrush is it doesn't smooth border edges. We can just push it all in for now, but there we go. Okay, so let's go back to this guy. Okay, so what I'm thinking now, we need to re-export the body geometry, the shirt geometry, sorry. Let's check on the render actually, see how that's doing. Not bad. I did work on this obviously a little bit off stream. I've done some slightly more cinematic lighting, although it's not too cinematic. What else did I change? Okay, so the beard is thinner, as in like the actual physical width of each hair is 0.8, the original width. Skin is slightly less diffuse, more subsurface. Spec has a slightly higher IOR but a lower weight. The higher IOR is because, like, I always oversimplify IOR with skin. I always just say it's like 1.33 or, you know, whatever water is. It always changes every time I do it, but it always ends up in that kind of territory. But the skin also has grease on top of it, which I couldn't find a IOR of sebum, but sebum is like this kind of a waxy grease thing. So I think I went with 1.4, 1.42, something like that. Yeah, I also tweaked the mask so the hair grows close to the ear now. I still need to fix quite a lot of stuff, and obviously the skin texture itself is still, like if I go to albedo, like horrifically simple. Adding complexity to that will help a lot with the actual final thing. I think we get the clothes in, and I might do a little bit of work on the skin. Maybe. We'll see how long I feel like streaming for. Let's save that scene. Okay, so let's save this. I can save that, it's fine. Hey Kiriato, how's it going? I'm doing pretty well myself, thank you. Okay, this entire area needs to be simplified. Your render is looking very well. Thank you. Okay, this So this area down here, a bit too much. We need topological. Wherever you add cloth, you need to remove it nearby. What do you think about the HDRIs you bought? They're really, really helpful. They really made everything feel just a bit more natural with basically zero work. I strongly, strongly recommend them. In fact, I'll put a link to them. One sec. Let me just go grab the... So, the ones that I bought were these two. It's not cheap, but it's good enough to kind of warrant the money. So that's number 3, and this is number 2. I think the two of them combined is 100. I think it's like 110 Canadian dollars for me. So I think it's like £60, £62 flat. Although I can't remember the number honestly. Okay. I think I'll do as the temp. So let's get the shirt re-exported. For now, we're just doing decimated meshes because we're gonna retopload them properly later. So we got the highest res mesh. Let's just save our scene. So we're gonna decimate this down. Let's think. Z plugin. Decimation master. Let's go to 100k. There will do. Pre-process. Come on. Give it a moment to do this thing. I'll probably end a stream today about 9 o'clock. I'll kind of see where we get until that point. Okay, that's the plugin. Decimate current. There we go. So let's get that exported. We're just going to turn off all that stuff. Export. So this is in blockout exports, then shirt decimated. Okay, then we'll do the same for the tie, which is already only 40,000, but let's just smooth it a few times and then decimate it. Z plugin. Okay, pre-process current. Cool. Z plugin, decimate current. And that'll just keep a generally smoother appearance. Export. Turn all these guys off. Tide geo decimated. I might rename all this stuff. And then for now, we will merge this down. Let's just go geometry, delete lower. And then this guy, I don't think he was, no he wasn't. Okay, so let's merge that down one. I'm not worried about losing any information. Pre-process current. Z plugin. Okay, there we go. So let's get that exported as well. Export. Coat geo underscore decimated. Cool. And then we'll just close ZBrush. And we'll reopen it in a moment. I need to get Maya open. And then we'll block out, block out some very basic shaders for those two. And then I might work on Groom just a tiny bit. Let's get like a little bit more information into the peach fuzz. I'll add some guides towards the beard to help them kind of blend together. Because currently the peach fuzz feels way too separate as an entity. Like there's no kind of blend from beard to peach fuzz. Like it should get longer. So we'll increase the length of the peach fuzz in this area. Maybe blend the beard out, but I'm not sure on that one yet. And yeah, I think next stream I'll get back into skin texturing. Because obviously our skin texture, as pointed out a moment ago, is too basic. Like there's nothing from this. I also need to do some tests with the color space. Make sure it's all working correctly. see how this is doing. Just gotta mute for a second to have a drink. I'm back. Yeah, I think next stream will be well spent doing skin texturing. Because like the spec map and all that stuff is working well enough, although I do need to remove the pores from the spec map so it gets a bit more broken up. Because currently there is a cavity map, but it's not enough. It needs to be a bit stronger than that. So I'll do a bit of work in Nuke to kind of extract maps from displacement, so I don't have to retransfer it all in wrap. I might separate into 2 separate displacement maps as well, like one for the low frequency stuff and one for the high frequency stuff, and that will give me a lot more control in LitDiv. So, Maya is opening. Give us a moment to do this thing. There we go. So we'll delete this guy. Can't remember what these were. I saw the wrap geometry stuff. Alright, we'll get rid of those. Okay, so we need to import the shirt. So let's start with shirt decimated. So the shirt, because of the collar, I need to add a thickness to it. So let's just quickly assign. Come on. I think something's going on my computer soon. It's acting really weird. But I've been getting a lot of like micro stuttering and stuff. In fact, you can actually tell in the stream sometimes. Like there'll be a period of like half a second where it just glitches the hell out. But yeah, I need to get that solved. Okay, so let's go to mesh. I'm just gonna go, let's go extrude. Then it was 3 divisions, and the offset. Oh wait, thickness. Because that is like there. This will be inverted normals, but then we just flip that. The reason I'm not doing positive is because I want it to extrude in towards the neck. Okay, so we're just gonna unlock normals. Okay, and then we're just gonna go mesh reverse. Cool, so there's that done. So we're gonna throw that into the clothing group and call it shirt geo. Cool. Then we'll just import the tie, and that will be left completely alone. And let's drag that into there as well. Tie geo. And we need to import the coat. Okay. And we're not going to worry about the thickness because all this stuff is off of the screen for the test we'll be doing. So this, again, we'll just drag it in there, and we'll call this one coat geo. Cool. Obviously we need to sculpt the back of it at some point, but let's not worry too much about that yet. So let's get preview mat and all that. Yeah, it's feeling very basic, but that's fine. So let's get this exported. So I'm just going to go cache, Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Let's put this into modeling, publish. Cool. There's that done. We're going to alt save our scene. get into Katana. So we just need to create a few more materials. So this guy, I'm going to duplicate these two. So let's just go tie mat. And then this one is coat mat. Cool. Then down here, duplicate, duplicate. Okay, this one is coat. And this one is coat. Cool. So, let's go into that clothing mat. Can't remember what this is. Oh yeah, we can disconnect that. Let's just start off with the tie material. So this one, for the sake of getting something speedy. Oh, is it crashing? There we go. So we'll keep the sheen and stuff, but we're gonna make it metallic. Done. Something like that. Just as a placeholder. Then this guy would need to be way darker. So let's copy that. In fact, let's keep it even simpler. Let's just do a color correct. Okay, and let's just expose this down. Let's go -3 exposures. Cool, let's see what that does. And then we can move on to doing groom for a little bit, just to make something a bit more interesting. Okay. You have to go even more exposures down. Apparently so. So let's just grab this guy. No, this guy. Go down another exposure. Let's go 4.5 actually. I guess with this metallic thing, we're going to have to do that properly. So let's, for a moment, hide. Let's prune everything we don't need. So, just to speed up our scene a little bit. Geo. We don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that, we don't need that. That'll make it a lot faster. So let's work on this a little bit. Let's grab this guy. Okay, we're gonna make him update. And go to the materials. We're gonna make that update as well. Cool. So, start a live render on this boy. Now obviously the way this reflects depends 100% on the environment. So I'm not too worried about the, what's the word I'm looking for? This isn't starting to render. Yeah, I'm not too worried about pixel matching this thing. It only needs to be basic. Classy. Okay, this is not working. Wonder why. So let's just see how quickly that gets started. What I'm thinking shader-wise is that it will need... God. It will need... Shit, what's the word I'm looking for right now? Right, okay. Yeah, we'll build it from the ground up. So we're just going to go with base near 0 and a little bit diffuse roughness, but not much. Specular all the way up. Specular IOR, let's bump that artificially higher. Metaness 0, sheen 0. And put this down a fair bit. Now obviously this is just for the block out. I want to do an actual model and start getting some UVs and textures on there. I'll do it properly. But I just want to go for this general effect here. So I think less diffuse, because this is still too bright, although... I think less roughness. Tiny bit less diffuse. We do need dual spec to get this look. So I guess we'll very quickly go in and add a coat. Make it nice and subtle. Low IOR, that should work fine. And then it's just a case of finding the brightness for it. It's also a slightly cream color. It's not actually white. Okay, that's closer. And then just go to coat and direct. Need to turn spec off for the coat as well. That's ballpark correct. Obviously the shading will do a lot for it. Oh, the texturing, sorry, will do a lot for it. Let's just tint this color over a little bit. So let's go about here. Give it a tiny, just a touch of color. Maybe a little bit more. Okay. Let's go into spec for this guy. Sheen I'm going to turn down. Spec I'm going to turn I'll turn off. In fact, the shirt as well, I need to turn spec off. Because I was using that kind of as a preview, like get a bit more depth out of the model. Okay, so let's take the spec off the shirt there. I think we need some anisotropy as well on this guy. Obviously it's a woven fabric, right? So yeah, let's get a little bit of anisotropy on the tie there. See, I don't know how much rotation it will need. I don't know what direction it will need to rotate in as well. Let's boost that a little bit more. And then we'll just reduce the strength. It might still be a little bit too rough. A little bit better. We need some subsurface on the shirt, so let's get that in there. Let's go to SSS. Colors set to white. I'm not keen on that. Oh wait, no, we do have an actual base color in there. Okay, so I'm just going to grab the color we're using here and plug that directly in to subsurface. I'll plug it into the radius as well. To add like that much SSS. 404, that was not intentional. And then this is 0.1 thick, so we'll go 0.1. And this is going to blow out more than likely. In fact, yeah, let's go half that. Because 0.1 isn't the max distance. Like, if a bright light is shined against it, it will go further. Oh, this is intersecting. Let's just see how this does. So this should get a little bit more visibility through the shirt now. It'll probably brighten up quite a lot as well. There you go. The amount of difference that SSS makes is so important to get cloth right. It removes a ton of information, but so be it, you know. Might add a little bit of SSS to the tie as well. Although we do have barely any actual color in there. Stuff like that. And just see how this reacts. Grab that color, plug that into the radius. This is not physically based at all, but that might give an interesting effect. We'll also put it into this guy. Okay, so it's a little bit too far. Although it is getting closer to the ref now, so I think if we reduce that SSS weight, we'll just see what my SSS is doing. Yeah, if we just reduce that SSS weight a little bit, because it's flattening things out too much. So let's do that. So that's like the That's help it feel a little bit less like, well, like metal. I guess to look into metallic cloths and see how, like, why is it they shade that way. So ideally we should fix that, but I don't think I really care right now. Okay. I'm going to let that clean up for a moment. In the meantime, I'm going to crack open this guy. So let's do a little bit of beard blending with the peach fuzz. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So peach fuzz is what we want. So let's just grab, oh, not that one. Okay, let's just go peach fuzz. Okay, we just need the hairs in here to be longer. So, Yeti, groom, tool options, then attribute editor, attribute paint, grab that guy. Sample what these are doing. It's 0.36, so let's increase that to 0.7. Okay. Mirror axis X, cool. And then we'll just make the length of this higher. Okay, there we go. Gonna increase the length of the peach fuzz towards the head as well. That's more just for an artistic effect, not necessarily because it's accurate. Let's comb this guy. Cool. So obviously this is way too long for peach fuzz, but I just want it to kind of blend in more. So we'll see how that does. The neck needs to also blend up a bit more. So let's just get that saved. Yeah, ballpark's close enough. The darks aren't dark enough, although that could be lighting. Because this area is about the same brightness as this area here. And that's roughly the same amount of occlusion. There's like a weird foil effect to this. Like these creases feel like foil. Like obviously it wasn't literally a metal tie, but it kind of feels like it sometimes. This needs to pinch in more for it to be accurate. And obviously that needs to tuck into the back of it. Okay, so let's kill that render. Let's think for a moment here. Okay, so go to the outliner, grab this guy, make him visible for a moment. It's incredibly thin groom. Like insanely thin. Okay, so let's get that exported. Yeti. Export groom from selected Yeti node. Groom for peach fuzz. Cool. So get that hidden. Let's check out the beard groom guides. I think this area I'll revisit. Maybe in the next stream. We'll see. I I need to update the mask so that we get more hair growing back here. Because currently this hair is growing pretty much where I want it. Although the width map is really decimating this area, so we'll have to jump into that. In fact, yeah, we'll have to do that, definitely. We can clamp the width map in the groom. But then that's starting to get into weird territory. Like, I'd do that professionally, but I wouldn't do that for a personal project. Reason being is professionally, like, the texture artist might not have time to, you know, go in and do all that shit. Obviously need to work on this area as well. The guides are too basic right now. Okay. I think that'll do. So, let's get this scene saved, which I think I've already done. And how long have I been streaming for? Scale yes. 2 hours. Is that an acceptable amount of time? Because, like, the other tasks I've got to do kind of start to unravel a bit. I guess we can try to do some Mari stuff. I think I'm okay with this scene like it is, so let's close that. Save again, even though I know I just saved. Let's get Mari cracked open and just quickly update the width map for the bid. Because it shouldn't go down to 0 like it is there. I've got so many mosquito bites right now. It's really annoying. Never realised Canada gets so many mosquitoes. And then, yeah, next stream, start to work on skin, possibly. And then stream after that. I don't want to do the clothing for a little while. I want to kind of focus on getting the skin shading and texturing stuff a bit nicer. Okay. So let's go to mustache, no, beard, and it's the width. Yeah, that's going too low. Okay, so we need to change the minimum value that reaches. What is the minimum value that reaches? Okay, yeah, we need to bump that up quite a lot. It's like here. And then the overvalue needs to be like 0.5. Okay. Let's go into organic brushes. Set this to mirror our projections, and we're just going to noise this all up a bit. I might get rid of some of these brighter regions. But yeah, there's pepper. Tool properties, we need a little bit more position jitter. I think I was going like there last time. Okay, let's go a touch higher. Oh, even 0.5 is low. What? Four. There we go. Nice and low res back there, but that's fine by me. Let's just ease all this stuff out. I want it to go really thin down here, because that's where I should start blending back. Okay. Cool. Let's get that re-exported. Save our scene. So forbid width. Export flattened, export current channel flattened. Underscore width.tiff. It's already in utility raw. Cool, and then let's update the mask. Okay. So mask needs to be solid brushes. I'm just going to ease this down a little bit as well. There we go, stuff like that. Tiny bit extra there. There we go. Right, so we need to export those two as well now. So let's just go export this guy, export flattened. Oh, I can't use the export manager. I use it, again, it's one of those things, I can use it, but these are .tiff files, not TIF. And the export manager doesn't give me the option to rename it. Okay, so let's get that saved. I think that'll be it for this stream. Let me just archive this guy. Projects, personal work, doing this on the other screen. Texturing, Mari, body, archive. Let's just increment that number by 1. This project is already 36 gigabytes on my hard drive, so another gigabyte won't hurt. I need to upgrade my drives though, because I've got 2 terabytes. I've got 3 2 terabyte drives, but I kind of want my CG drive to be a bit bigger. Like, you know, 6 terabytes or something, like on its own. Because I feel like my personal projects are only going to get heavier. I'm just glad I'm not an effects artist, because the amount of fucking caching I'd be doing. In the meantime, let's get this exporting. Or let's get this started, like rendering. Okay, so let's just catalog this guy. And then, yeah, we'll just see how that goes. I think we made some decent progress. For the time we spent on the asset, that was a pretty decent amount of time. A pretty decent amount of progress. We got a coat in place, we got a tie, we updated the shirt, we updated the groom. So I can just leave this rendering for a bit, come back to it later. So something actually that I'm wondering about. So the end of stream renders that I do, like the single camera angle, I know they're probably worth keeping, but does anyone actually care about those? Because it takes a fair chunk of time in my evenings to kind of, you know, send a few renders and wait for them to finish, and obviously it eats up a lot of my computer's resources, so I can't play that many of my games while it's rendering. There's a few I can play. I've got some lighter games from a while ago that can run on, you know, 1 or 2 CPU cores, but yeah, can't exactly play Squad or Escape from Tarkov or anything like that with 2 CPU cores. The rest of them are in use. Yeah, so this area right here should get a bit more hair this time, and this down here should get a bit fluffier too. Seems like a lot more hair. Oh, yeah, of course. Less light is being bounced off the shirt now, so his neck is darker. I thought that was a bit intense, but it's actually just more shadowing. Actually makes the lighting a bit more interesting. Yeah, I think once we start retopping the clothing and stuff, it'll be quite a lot of fun to go and play about with it a bit more. Obviously, once I try to pose this guy, I'm going to have to resimulate the clothing. Well, I say resimulate, I'll have to simulate the clothing. But what I'm thinking is I'll sculpt it all to be like vaguely the shapes I want, and then I'll probably kind of I'll add a lot of dampening or something just to kind of retain the shapes but match it to a new model position. Doing multiple layers of cloth simulation. What do you call it? Multiple layers of cloth simulation is obviously fun. Encloth does have a nice little thing for it though that I think is kind of not lost knowledge, because that would be making it sound like I know what the fuck I'm doing, which I don't. But Marvel Designer has it too, and I'm sure Houdini has it. But in Encloth there is a collision layer setting. I can't remember the exact name of it in Maya, but basically it can make sure that meshes only stay like above or below other meshes. So if I say, hey, the tie is collision layer 3, this is collision layer 2, and this is collision layer 1, the tie will always be on top of the shirt, which will always be behind the coat. And the tie, by extension, would always be on top of the coat. And that just allows you to do like really kind of fun stuff in terms of layering. Like you can simulate multiple things at the same time. But yeah. But yeah, I guess that'll be it for today's stream. I think this is improving the look a fair chunk. There's more interest to it now. I'm going to let this render until it's like stupid clean. Throw it into Nuke, do a little bit of grading, and then post it online or something. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Next stream probably won't be tomorrow. So more than likely Saturday, I guess. But I'll be streaming again before the end of the week, or before the end of the weekend. And yeah, in that stream we'll either focus entirely on groom, like for the back of the head and side of the head, or we'll focus on skin shading. I'm thinking more skin shading, or skin texturing, sorry. You know, extract some maps out of the displacement, maybe get that relayered up so that we can control it a bit better in the look dev. And then beyond that, start getting some like kind of breakup, like actually start getting some details in the texture, because again, the skin color map is literally just this. I also need to re-UV the eyes at some point, and retexture them to get something a bit more interesting out of those. But yeah, I think that'll be it for now. I also need to pull this collar in because that's so like straight edge, so it needs to kind of be a bit more vertical or tilt in a little bit. But that can be a future stream's problem. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this or learned something. And yeah, I'll see you in the next stream whenever that happens to be. Right, bye guys.